back again with another crypto podcast. I'm joined with the lovely co-host of the Goat3d Podcast. I've got my right-hand man, Mr. Goat3d, right there. He's not doing his goat horns right now. He's looking at his phone. It's good to be back, guys. And I've got my lovely kind of crypto Pope as well. The legendary, I'd say the leader of the Fart Boy crew, crypto kind of Pope. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, going well, man. Honestly, like it seems like the stars are aligning right now. Like as soon as we started the podcast, the market started to pump. The pump for Cryptoverse, man. You know what I mean? So happy to be back again, man. How about you, Kenna, man? How you doing?
I'm in shock that it's Sunday. Like, where did this week go? I mean, you weren't here last week. We miss you as always when you're not on the show, brother. It's just never the same. Yeah. But this week just seemed to fly by. Am I the only one? Like, you blink and this one was gone. But doing well. It's always nice to see the bounce in the market, especially on a show when we're going into it. But after all the doom and gloom and the people and the chicken littles and the sky is falling, we always say nobody has a crystal ball as to when these situations happen, but that they are going to come. And always have money on the side to be prepared for them. So hopefully people got some of these juicy bottoms. We called a few. We'll go over that, I imagine, this show. But good to be back. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, man. So
So I completely agree. My whole timeline was filled with fear mongering and people saying that we're gonna go to. It's the bull market's finished. We're gonna head to the bear market, and now it's completely flipped. Like all of a sudden, I'm not shocked, but Amir, are you shocked?
Nah, man. I've been telling people like 2 months ago, guys, have cash on the sidelines. When market was at the highs, I was telling everyone, get ready. We're gonna have dips in the market, guys. Please get ready, because whenever we historically break through all-time highs, we go through a period of a downtrend where the market pulls back and gives opportunities again for you to get back in for cheaper again. And I was telling everyone, have cash on the sidelines so you're able to buy the bottom, which is around these areas right now that we are in. And I was ready. I was buying the bottom. I was buying a few tokens, that I sent into the chat, that we sent into the chat. So yeah, man, it feels good. It feels good to buy the bottom, honestly.
Nice, Mr. Bottoms. I'll be honest, like the depth of the dip was a little more than I was expecting, but compared to past dips and past markets, it's not really. When you actually start to look at the percentages and the numbers, that was probably, a little bit of my own hopium that I want the market to go. I don't think, Bitcoin 180 tomorrow. I've never believed that or said that. I believe everything's always steps. But I understood more the panic this time than I have when we're in a consolidation box of range for panic in those. This went to a little bit of a dip that I think caught a lot of stop losses, ended a lot of longs as well. So I'm excited to get into it. Gentlemen, you tell me when. I put streams up.
Yeah, before anything else, would you like me to go through some fundamentals that happened this week for the US economy? Should we go through that?
I think, it would be great if you can kind of like just pick up from last week. I know I missed last week, so if you can kind of like inform me what I may have missed on last session and where we are now as well.
Yeah, so this week we had, if you can share my screen, Kenna. This week we didn't have an eventful week full of releases, but on Thursday, the 27th of Feb at 8:30, just after the New York session open, two releases came for the US dollar. One was the GDP for the Q4 of last year. So we got data for that. And we got unemployment claim data as well for the US dollar. And I found some articles so we can see what actually happened on those two releases, so we can get a gauge of what the sentiment of the investors were like after the data came out, and what the reactions was to the US dollar and the other sectors of the economy, such as gold. I'm just going to go through gold and treasury bonds today after I analyze US dollar for you guys. But before that, I'm going to look at two articles. One is about jobless claims, which was unemployment claim data, and one is for GDP. So for unemployment, it says that I'm on CNN Business. This article came out right after the release. It says that there were an estimated 242,000 jobless claims filed last week, according to seasonally adjusted data released Thursday by the Department of Labor. That's an increase of 22,000 from the prior week's tally, and a figure that landed well above economists' expectations for 220,000 claims. It's the largest weekly spike in claims in more than 4 months. So what it's telling us here, it says that there's been a rise in unemployment in the United States, and more people are filing for unemployment, more than expected, and it's signaling that people in the United States are losing jobs. And this is actually very bad for the US economy, this data, and it actually makes the investors very cautious, because it suggests that businesses are going to be struggling because of this, and the economy might become weaker because of this. The next thing it mentions is that it's possible that hundreds of thousands of government workers could be laid off, as Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency, which is DOGE/rules. So it's telling us what contributed to those jobless claims is federal layoffs. So there's a lot of people in federal jobs that are getting laid off. Okay, so the government is cutting jobs basically. Okay, and this could point to broader economic issues. Federal jobs include things such as jobs such as law enforcement and administration, healthcare, education, federal agencies like Department of Defense and FBI. The next thing he mentions is that the February job report is scheduled to be released on March the 7th. So March the 7th is going to be very important. We're gonna get some employment data on that day, and economists expect the US to have added 160,000 jobs in February, and which is going to be an increase to January's initial estimate of 143,000. So March the 7th is going to be very important, the report, and this is a big indicator of the health of the economy, job sector. Okay, if there's more jobs being created, that's good for the economy, that's healthy, and that means that investors are going to have more confidence in the US dollar, so they'll be buying the US dollar. If the data comes out weak for the jobs in the United States, then people will lose confidence in the US dollar, and we will see a sell-off in the US dollar. And for gross domestic product, the GDP, it says that the GDP increased at an annual rate of 2.3% in the fourth quarter of 2024, which is October, November, and December. And in the third quarter, GDP increased by 3.1%. So there was a slight slowdown from quarter 3 of last year to quarter 4. This is the data for quarter 4, all right, which is telling us that there's been an economic slowdown. But this growth in quarter 4 is driven by consumer and government spending. However, business investment has slowed down, okay, which is signaling caution for investors. And over here, it says that the price index, this is similar to what I just what I just read, so we're going to skip that. The price index for gross domestic purchases increased 2.3% in the fourth quarter, and the personal consumption expenditure price index increased by 2.4%, and PCE price index increased 2.7%. So what it's telling us is that inflation is rising in the United States, so prices have risen by 2.3%. Core inflation has risen by 2.7%, which is indicating there's higher costs for goods and services in the United States. And rising inflation is going to make investors nervous, because if the Federal Reserve, because of this, might hike the interest rate, and by hiking the interest rate, it could actually strengthen the US dollar and strengthen the demand on treasury bonds as well. So let's go on the chart, guys, and see what's going on. For the US dollar index, I'm on the daily time frame right now. It seems like we've hit, let me just move this out of the way. It seems like we've hit an area of demand on the daily, which I'll actually mention that we're going to get hit on last week's podcast, or I mentioned it, that we're going to come into this area, and we did. And investors, let me just change this. Okay. The investors saw this as an opportunity to buy the United States dollar for a very cheap discount. And as you can see, we had the scalping opportunities pushing prices up. And if I zoom in a little bit, we can see that we got several bullish candles moving the price up right above the 10 and 20 moving averages. So it's telling us that this could be a start of a uptrend right now. So there's more bullish momentum in the market than it was before. Before there was a lot of consolidation here, which moved price down, and now we're getting that bullish momentum back again in the US dollar, and we can see that from the volume, the rising volume. The volume is above average now, and it's bullish. The rise in volatility, and the rise in RSI. So RSI has gone back above the 50% line, which is indicating to us that there's more demand in the US dollar now. There's more interest. Investors are feeling more confident pulling their money into the United States dollar right now. But if we look at gold right now, gold is actually doing the opposite. Gold has gone above the monthly close, and it's been on an uptrend ever since the opening of last month in January. And right now it seems like investors are now taking profits from gold, as you can see from the high volume on gold, which is sell volume, and the high volatility. And also the opposite to United States, gold is actually crossing the 50% line on the RSI, the opposite direction. So gold is entering a low demand zone. So investors are pulling their money out of gold and going into other assets in the market, such as treasury bonds. Treasury bonds are solid right now because of the expectations that Federal Reserve is going to increase the interest rates. People are rushing to treasury bonds right now, so they're buying it. It's on an uptrend. We're still above the 10 and 20 moving averages, and the volume is also rising on the treasury bonds. And RSI is in a very high position right now. It's showing us high demand in treasury bonds. And of course, look at crypto. This is what we were here for. Crypto, literally, news came out for crypto. Ryan, you want to go through the news? What came out today for crypto?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I completely agree with you. I don't know if you want to touch on some of the stuff, Kana, or if you want me to take it away for now and then you can jump back in straight after.
Yeah, if you can go through
to the news. I'll jump in after. Go to the news.
Cool. All right. So this is something that I've kind of like paid attention to in the last, like, let's say, probably like 2 months now. Something that we kind of covered before, I think, on one of our segments where we did talk about, the Bitcoin strategic reserves potentially coming in. And, one of the key indicators that I saw in the market, I think quite some time ago, was that any news on Bitcoin strategic reserve would automatically pump the market. Not necessarily in, like, let's say, a long-term format. It will just give it like a nice little push. And I think one of the things that we are now seeing is we're starting to see confirmation of a crypto strategic reserves, not necessarily just a single Bitcoin strategic reserves, but we're starting to see a broader kind of like outlook on crypto. And one thing that's great as well is the SEC are starting to kind of like be a little bit lenient on what they kind of like, push back on with crypto. We start to see the SEC now say that, meme coins are not a security. That was one thing that kind of like gave the market a little bit of a push. And now we're starting to see industries start to kind of like come in and look at some of these micro cap coins. One thing that I did mention as well, when I think everyone was panicking, that everyone was saying there's blood in the market, I think Bitcoin was around 90K, was obviously that we hit resistance levels. It was bound to happen. We was not going to break through 100K, 110K and hold that level the first time. Like, you don't expect those things to happen on any single coin. Like, why would you expect it to happen on Bitcoin? And it kind of like reminded me of like 2021 as well, where we did see the all-time highs for Bitcoin, and then we started to see a little bit of a pullback as well. And one thing that kind of pushed the market back up in that 2021, 2022 period was the fact that Tesla came in and Elon Musk came in, and it pushed Bitcoin back up to its all-time high prices again. And we started to see like a double top. And now I'm starting to see something similar. With this time, it's now the crypto strategic reserves, which is the main narrative of the conversation. And yeah, guys, like literally, it was pretty obvious. And this was something that I posted 28th of February. It was a small little bounce from Bitcoin. I was like, guys, like we're going to start to see the narrative flip very, 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 very quickly. And to be honest, this post didn't even last a single day. It didn't even last a week. Like, everyone sold their bags to the whales. And well done. Like, if you did buy the bottoms like Amir did, well done to you as well. But if you did panic, it's part of the whole it's part of market manipulation. Like, guys, we saw this coming. It was gonna happen eventually. It's just the fact that we just didn't know it was gonna happen on a Sunday, like of all days. Like, guys, I've never seen news like this on a Sunday for crypto, but here we are. We're in a new time. So Trump names cryptocurrencies to be in strategic reserve, and obviously the prices spiked straight away. So this is Reuters. So we're starting to see a lot of mainstream media articles pump this news out that Donald Trump is announcing the crypto strategic reserves. Of course, he did mention the coins that were, I think, established in America at first. I think he wanted to kind of like give a backing to the coins that were founded in America, and he wants, the United States to be a crypto hub for crypto, and it's a part of his Make America Great Again campaign in making sure that crypto is number one in America. And he mentioned XRP, it shot up straight away. Solana, it shot up straight away. Cardano, the coin that we all hate, we don't know the use purpose for it, we don't know why it's here, but it's still here. That even shot up. And yeah, like that's one thing that we kind of like expected. And a lot of people were like, he's not mentioning Bitcoin, he's not mentioning Ethereum. But guys, come on, like, you knew that this was going to happen. Of course, he was going to mention Bitcoin and Ethereum as part of the crypto strategic reserves. And, Donald Trump, he's the president of the United States. He's arguably the most famous person on the planet. And now he's saying, I also love Bitcoin and Ethereum. Like, come on, it was bound to happen. I think a lot of people kind of were like scared of what was happening with crypto because of what happened with the Biden administration, as Trump alludes to. But a lot of these things that they're starting to pump right now I've got a theory that it's going to be to do with the gold at Fort Knox, and I think they're not going to find everything there that they expect to find there, and then I think eventually it will lead to maybe utilization of the blockchain for verification of things like gold potentially. Who knows? I mean, the blockchain is available for a lot of things that you can do in the market. So yeah, this was Eric Trump who posted it at 4:44 p.m. That's a nice little time there. I do like the 444s. But yeah, guys, this was going to happen. I kept saying it on the podcast multiple times that you have to kind of like believe that Donald Trump is going to lead, a regime that is going to be backing Bitcoin and having it more utilized within America. And a lot of things that people started to kind of like, not look at is the overall macro. And Amir, you was bang on the money with a lot of the things that you were saying with, the money supply. On February 28th, we started to see $825 billion added to the US stock market, which was kind of like my indicator that things were kind of like changing again. And yeah, that was like the moment that I started to say, yeah, okay, it does look like the market will flip again, and hence my tweets as well. I kind of saw it coming. But yeah, no, guys, we can even tell, look how many people are here already. We've already got like a good 300, 400 people in, and we're only 19 minutes into the podcast.
420. You just hit 420, brother. For the
Wow,
culture.
wow.
421 walked in the door. You killed it. Now we're at 420.
Yes.
We're over.
Yes. We're so high right now on the prices, and we're high on Donald Trump pumping the market. So guys, you have to be ready for things like this. This news is going to come quickly. News is going to come very, very fast. A lot of the things that I mentioned to Amir previously in our conversations, like one-to-one, is that the industries are going to come when people are scared of the market, and like I said before, Elon Musk was the one that kind of like started that rally again in 2021, 2022 for the double top. And now we've got Donald Trump who's leading that, that bull run again. So yeah, kind of, do you want to take away some of the stuff that Amir may have missed out, or things that you've got to speak about?
Oh, why not? All right, we are looking at the total market cap of crypto. I'll put it on full screen so it becomes a little easier. Let's jump into the 3-day. Let's do a zoom out to start. And where we've been talking, and last episode, this is like past midnight for me, so I'm always a little tired. We talked about $1 a second. I think I said $1 a second takes about 12 days to get to $1 million. and $1 a second. I think I said it takes 27 years. I was wrong. It takes just over 31. I think it's 31.7. I should have Googled it, but it explains the difference of how big the money is. And we're in, as I've said before, uncharted territory with our total market cap. And total market cap, I've been asked this a lot this last couple of weeks. It's all the money that's in crypto. It's all the money that's in Bitcoin and Ethereum, all your little shit coins and altcoins and AI tokens. That all together right now is sitting just over at $3 trillion. And you can see where we had this rectangle where we said we want to stay within it, and it seems to be bouncing back and forth. And we talked about how much money that really was. If we go to the candle of our most recent peak, and we go down to just a few days ago, we lost $1 trillion. That's huge in less than 2 weeks. And then just recently now, we're coming right back up with a slight little pullback to just shy of 500 billion, so $500 billion coming back in. And it's being injected a lot faster than it came out. And that is probably due to the news of Trump saying what's in his portfolio on Sunday, which I agree, right? What the fuck? And interesting that we're bouncing off this rectangle that we had. So if we go in now on a smaller time frame and see our daily, it gets a little interesting here too, right? Because we did break below our 200 EMA. And I don't really get panicky on a daily 200 EMA because typically it is pretty quick up and down underneath it. You dance with it from now and then. But when I see a 200 EMA being broken on a 3-day or a weekly, that's when you'll see me come to you guys, our audience and our friends and our family and be like, now I got to question this bullish stance. I haven't had to question any of the bullish stance. Even last week, I said I was still bullish. This was a little bit deeper than I said, like earlier in the show, than I thought we would get into. But if you look right around where it hit, if we just take this top consolidation area here, right, and we just drag it across, here we are at this point as resistance, at this point we're support, and here we're kind of bouncing in between it. You can see we came right down to it and it acted as support. So stinky wicks, we talked about those. Obviously, this is the total market cap. So that money was only gone for a short period of time when it left. And when we talk about the belly of the bear and where to get in and enter, we're starting to see the belly and hopefully getting another bullish cross for movement to the upside, for more indicating more money into the market. And when we look on a 3-day, this is also what's bullish here, is we've come into this belly of the bear, of a micro bear, right? Our EMA crosses are these micro bears and micro bulls. And we're starting to look like the shift towards the upside again, due with that news. But what is this telling us? Right now, here's our low. Our last micro bear was down here, right? So we've made a higher low. We're still bullish momentum when we zoom out on the total market cap, which means there's a very good chance and starting to look like money is moving back into the markets. And FOMO will start to happen, and we'll start to see it flow into the different coins and things like that. But we also know there will be steps along the way. But I mean, look at the 4-hour here. Look at the 15-minute. Oops. It's just big green dildos, as Tom always calls them. Like, look at it.
Wow.
And our critical greed or fear was firing. It was telling you this is all oversold in this area, the market, right? And now critical greed is firing in the exact opposite direction. And in the span of 2 hours and 30 minutes, we had just shy of $300 billion injected into the market. That's the power of news. That's the power of FOMO. And we can be up in these tops and bottoms for periods of time before they start to curl, because the cross is telling us we have nothing but upwards motion still. And when we zoom out look at the market structure and who's been selling when on, say, the hourly, you can see that it's New York that woke up and chose love, and Tokyo's been selling, New York was selling. So I wouldn't be surprised Tokyo's next session, they don't want to miss out. We're going to bump as well. Once again, nobody has a crystal ball, not financial advice, of course. But I always say with scared money, when the markets are in fear, it's the time to buy, but the money always runs into gold. And we've been cranking out gold. The price of gold has just been going up. And now when we start to see that it's oversold, which it fired here, critical greed on the 3-day, what are we starting to see on the daily? Looks like to me we're about to get a bearish cross, and we're going to start to contest some areas probably in this price range, roughly, just quick and dirty. It's going to want to hold this as support in here. And when money leaves gold, it typically goes into more higher risk assets, which would be your crypto. Dominance is how much money of all the money in crypto is in Bitcoin versus all the others. And the reason we haven't had an alt season yet is because we have not broken this purple channel for ages. And I said we want to curl this EMA cross, we want to get into a micro bear on the dominance shift, and we can move to the downside. We can probably just move that over by a day or two. It looks like I was off. But it looks like we're about to hopefully come into this downwards trend and drop in dominance. And this is on a 3-day. When we zoom in, look at dominance on a 15 minutes. When dominance wants to drop, it motherfucking drop. Right? And when I say we haven't seen an alt season, why has it done this? Because as Raya, you said earlier, man, these were buying positions, right? So a lot of that money that just came back into the total market cap of crypto is going into these alts, and it's coming out of Bitcoin, and that's what this is showing us. Now, granted, on a much lesser time frame, I want to see this kind of red action on a much higher time frame, and I do believe that's coming. The whole market is dictated by Bitcoin. The total market cap is your thermostat of the markets. Is money coming or going? Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin is your thermostat of the price of others, right? And we thought, hey, we had a wedge forming. We would like to see it break out to the upside and hold this line. Well, clearly this pattern didn't play out. So you don't marry it because this TA is no longer, applicable. It becomes invalidated. That's what that is when people say invalidated, right? So right now it does look like we're playing in that box of consolidation. Where's my box tool? Right? Right in here. And this probably would have been support eons ago in the days, maybe. Who knows? Maybe not, because I don't know. Right? And something I like to do every now and then with Bitcoin is compare it to cycles past, and where do we look like we're at in it? And we're coming up so fast. I think we're in this period right here. This chunk has become this chunk. Just with that extra little dip.
Yeah.
Which before was a big dip here. Right? And then we go off and we hit our top. We have too much institution and buying power down at these levels where we're at. This will be interesting to see how much of a resistance that this becomes. Does this resistance turn back into support and we play around here? And this price dip here was purely manipulation. And that's typically what you'll see, right? But that's only 20.69%. Now from its top to this low was about just under 30 because I went a little too long there, right? And when we go back to pullbacks in the past, $7.8. Oh, did I just lose it? I did. Just pull this one here, right? There's 13% on the way up. What is that one there on the way up? You know, another 31%. I bet you this one to here, I bet you is about the same.
I think that was the COVID crash, that one.
Right. So having these 20 some odd percent dips isn't unnormal for Bitcoin, and the rebounds coming back fast also isn't abnormal. So that's why I always look at the data and not that the sky is falling. And I was screaming all this week, if you were in any of the Discords I was in, you know, you buy the fear, you know, you buy the sheep's fear. And this is buying on red days and buying fear is where you make money. You know, buying Bitcoin right now after it's just pumped all this is not where you make money, because it'll probably pull back down at these wick areas, contest these areas before it tests these, or FOMO when it breaks in. Like this thing with Bitcoin, just do that either way. Ethereum, this was only a matter of time, and this is one that I've said has been the underdog. We wanted to see the belly, and I even said this resistance down here, put a stink bid in down here, and you'll probably catch it. Well, you would have caught it, you know, if you took that entry, and you would be in profit. I did load up on a bunch of Ethereum. You'd be up almost 8.5% already. I think what happened is with all the crash, of course, we'll start to see this play out probably now coming into here with Trump news and blah, blah, blah. So I still think we're on the rebound for Ethereum. It's just going to take us a little longer to get to the bullish cross and on the momentum upwards. But that's the other thing, like technical analysis and indicators don't give you time. They give you locations and probability, but they don't tell you when and where for that. Unfortunately, if we did, we'd all be rich, let's be honest. But still, you know, we're going to see resistance on Ethereum at the 200 EMA. So when it comes up to that around 3,000, which would make sense, psychological level, we're obviously going to have some support resistance of Ethereum in this area, whether it bounces off and pulls back or bounces around in it again. It would just make sense. So Solana, I mean, after it broke that area, we were saying was the support and resistance from way back here. It's interesting when we zoom out on this on the 3-day, we've come right back down into our bottom rectangle that we had before. Could have caught a stinky wick at our, you know, bottom entry bids are good. Don't really cover that too much in the show, but it looks like it's playing out another reversal. It's going to go retest its previous all-time highs. And then hopefully what we will see on the top is our retest once we get up into this range. I said quick and dirty here. Go to there. You know, we'll need to bounce around in here, come out, retest the top before we can take off for Solana. And I believe that'll happen. All eyes might be on Ethereum at the moment for sure. But I think what's important to stress is when we're in these areas of when there's a lot of panic, we're going into the 60s, Bitcoin Bitcoin and things, it's always good to zoom out. It usually you hit areas of support and resistance, and it's not a straight line down when it happens. So you kind of gauge what's going on. But that's why I say you always want to look at data and zoom out. And on the 3-day, we're not close to the 200 EMA. On the weekly, we're nowhere near it. So data for me is always bullish. You can always expect, sadly, 20 to 35% pullbacks in this market. It's not stocks where it's just a couple of percent here and there. So sometimes the best advice is to just walk away from your screens if you don't have the money to buy the bottoms, or if you put in too much and you're stressing, and you haven't put in a stop loss to minimize, and you gotta assess your strategies and how much you have in the markets. And opportunities now where we're just starting to see this rebound. I'm not going to say the market's back 100%, but we're just starting to see this rebound. This is where you can start to buy the next few red candles from the pullback and enter those positions. And it's good to look at communities. And I'm not talking just meme coin communities here. I mean, any token outside, in my opinion, Bitcoin and Ethereum, there's very little utility on them other than meme coins or a little bit of AI or a little bit of RWA. It comes down to each segment, the community behind each individual token and project. And the communities that fare the dips the best, that take their chart stays strong when most of the market is bleeding, those are the ones to pay attention to. By a mile, because they rebound the fastest. And charts don't lie, and data is just data. And sometimes you just have to zoom out and remember that. I'm extremely bullish on every project I've talked about in here, from Fartboy to Hyper to, I even did a little investigating on Fred that Mr. Goat3d talked about last week, and I saw that had a pump this week. I imagine if we looked at all altcoins right now, if I just open up my list, here, let's just do this. I'll put my screen back up again. If we just focus on the right side, just with that little bit of news, look at all the greens, in my watch list, and everybody's happy again. Oh, the bull run's not over. The same people that were saying, sell everything that the end is nigh are now saying the bull run's back. And hopefully you can see how comical those crowds are and why I call them sheep and just it's kind of frustrating, but I also know what it's like to be overinvested and stressed.
Yeah.
And that's why I try to preach, even as cliche as it sounds, only invest what you're willing to lose, because it doesn't matter. And I talked about this last week, Remy, you weren't here. It's no different in the stock market. It's no different in precious metals. It's no different in Forex. The fundamental basic strategies of trading are all the same. And to be better at trading is to control your emotions. To control your emotions is to follow strategy. Rule number one of strategy: don't play with your rent money, your food money, your important living day-to-day life money, because then you won't be stressed and you won't make dumb mistakes. And it'll happen faster if you do it properly. Wealth and understanding how money works, it'll happen faster if you follow the strategies and securities than if you don't, because you're going to pay the hard lessons, and the hard lessons in this game cost money. And I had this talk the other day with somebody that I've been trading with some time. And they asked me, they were like, when was the last time you put money in the market? And I was like, that's a damn good question. I can't even remember the last time I've ever transferred money into the market. And that's why I hate trying to guide people how to get money into the markets. I'm not trying to brag. I don't know. because all I do is make money from the markets. That I know how to do. And that's what I love this community for. And right now, there's actually, believe it or not, guys, 642 of you listening. If you're not following Mr. Goat3d or Remy Rye or myself, Canna Crypto Pope on X, give us a call, give us a follow and a like. We always do appreciate it. Jay Crypt, brother, I see you out there, man. It's been a long time trading with Jay Crypt as well. Andy, thank you very much. Mr. Frank the Tank, Jesus Christ, I got a fan club today, gentlemen. This is what happens when the Fart Boy community shows up.
We love it.
And apparently Fart Boy is moving right now. So
yeah,
I love all the love, people. I'm not going to lie. I'm extremely exhausted. It's probably coming across. I'm still in shock. The week went by that fast, and it's been nonstop. There's lots of exciting news coming for the Fart Boy community. I would be following their Twitter. One of the things that just came out as a member of our community is making a web series. And it's so like Napoleon Dynamite meets old school Batman meets Fart Boy meets like really well produced, done, that it's freaking cool. It's neat. And it's neat to see members of different skill sets of communities, put their talents towards the community. And that's what I think separates different communities. And things like that. So it's going to be an exciting couple of weeks, I think, with the strategic reserve being announced, money leaving gold and flowing back into the market. I mean, the Telegram group for you guys, you'll probably notice an uptick in traffic just because money's flowing back in. People are more quiet, I find, in Discords and Telegrams when the market is bleeding. Versus when bags are pumping, and the ones that are talking when the market are bleeding are usually the Chicken Littles or the ones doom posting the bottom possible prices without having any of the other stops in consideration along the way. So,
yeah, completely agree. Kind of, you've hit the nail on the head right there. I think what a lot of people don't really expect is, those pullbacks, those sharp drawbacks after an initial pump. Of course, we get those feelings of, excitement, but then everyone has to remember that these are, the biggest people, the biggest traders, the biggest funds, the manipulators in the world. They know how this market works. They know how to get people excited. They know how to pump the price up. They know when to dump it as well. So just make sure you're just riding the wave with it, and just make sure that you've not over leveraged yourself. Make sure you're not using your rent money, like Canna said. I think this is something that's kind of like reminiscent to when Trump actually announced the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, where we saw like everyone, doom posting about crypto, and then all of a sudden, Bitcoin Strategic Reserve was announced by Trump, and then all of a sudden we saw like a big pump, and then we started to see a bit of I don't know, it was like a bit of like a level, a bit of consolidation. And that was after the big AI little scandal with a lot of things happening with ChatGPT and DeepSeek AI. A lot of people were kind of like scared. And we did see a pump as well. Then we saw a drawback. So this is something similar I see as well. A lot of things that we kind of like don't see in the market nowadays, to what I did see in like the 2020, 2021, 22 period, is a lot of people not really like bag holding or holding on to their bags. I think we had like a period where in 2021, 2022, a lot of people were just holding on to their assets. They were just holding. There's a lot of there's a bit more of a stable kind of like community nowadays. We don't really see that a lot. And, credit to the Fart Boy community. I think that was one of the main meme coins that held up quite well within this dump. We did see a lot of coins and assets drop from, $700 million market cap all the way down to like 50 million, such as like Graphane, which is Amia's baby. But yeah, there's like a lot of communities out there that don't really like to hold onto their bags now. So if you are, getting in coins and you do reach profits that are like 5 figures, 6 figures, even 4 figures, whatever's good for you, make sure that you're taking some off the table. Don't just leave it all in there. It's not advised to keep everything in there. We still got time. We still got a few months left of this bull run, and like kind of says, you want to get in a position where you don't have to take your wallet out of your pocket and get that card out and put money into Coinbase. You want to keep that money in crypto and utilize that money and keep it rotating
and holding out
until forever.
Holding out plays trading, right? You can Google what is the success rate of a financial trader, and 95% of all traders fail. That's even including the ones on Wall Street. So people that come in with their, $200, $500, $1,000 budget, whatever it is every month, and they think they're going to trade, and they think they're going to outperform 5% of the best of the entire people at this game, this is where you got to give your head a shake. So what does that mean, though? Well, investing is different than trading. Yes, it's still trading at the end of the day, but the core heart of investing is more about doing a little research, finding that community you align with, and hold. The real investors that make money, they're not in and out. They're not trading the token. It can be done if you're a pro, absolutely. And those people are called market makers, and they work for exchanges, and they take and make big money. Let's be honest. You're not it. I'm not it. I mean, I provide liquidity for market makers because I can now, but I'm a good trader, and I don't think I'm that good to be doing that, and that's what I mean by just holding a little bit. And it's funny because I found a few shorts from when we've done shows past, and this is a short we made from, I think is almost 2 years ago.
And it was a tweet from ZSS Becker, if you know him. And he said, if you don't think the altcoin market can pull back at something like 40 to 45% at any given time, you don't know crypto. And we are going to see these pullbacks. And that's why in the game where we're playing long, we don't worry about these pullbacks. If we're playing short term, we want to make sure we miss those 20, 30, 40% pullbacks, and we're taking those profits.
That's it. Take profits.
And right now is not the time.
No.
And that's a lot of people confuse, and that's what I mean about investment versus trade. When people are panicking, this is when you take your strategy and you buy more. You take your dollar cost average. We're nowhere near take profit time, in my opinion. Taking initials out, that's a different story, right? And if you're trading and you got your initials out, now you're playing with house money, and that's brilliant. And your initials become money to buy dips. But taking profits, we're not there yet. And I promise you, if you're listening to the show, I'm going to tell you. I'm absolutely going to tell you when I'm taking profits out of the market. I've announced it many times. I've lost hundreds of followers. I've been called all sorts of names. You guys have seen me when I called the bull run, and everybody thought I was batshit crazy, smoking too much weed. And if you would have bought those entries when I told you, come on, gents. So... yeah, the doom and gloom always comes a little bit more heavy on the pullbacks, but I'm glad that, we get it out there. I'm also glad that I've seen in the communities I'm involved in a lot more cool-headedness on this dip I found. And it is only a matter of time before I think we get some of these rocket primed and some of our favorite alts and the different genres from AI to RWA to gaming to memes. It's only a matter of time before a lot of these really start to pump. And like I said, we haven't seen that pump because we haven't had a Bitcoin dominance break that channel. And when we do, we're going to have the shows back again where we have thousands watching because it's all eyes on crypto again, and the retail's back, and they're trying to catch that last bit of the ride. And there are some people that do and get out. But when that mad euphoria is back, that's when I'll be telling you, take a chunk out, take another chunk out, take another chunk out. Right now is put a chunk in, put a chunk in, put a chunk in on these red lower days. So I think that's it for me. Sorry, I'm a little tired this week.
It's so good, man. It's so good. Talking about alts, kind of, Ryan, you want to go through some of the stuff that you're watching, and we can do some analysis on some of the coins that we're posting on the group.
Sure. I think we can probably take another 10 minutes of the segment. That will take us up to the hour mark. I know it's been a long Sunday for a lot of us. But yeah, no, I kind of want to just point out one of the coins that was mentioned in our Telegram chat this afternoon, actually, as soon as that crypto strategic reserve news came out. We caught this crypto strategic reserve meme coin that just launched at 50K market cap. So it was around, let's say around here. It's gone absolutely parabolic. It's gone 50x upwards. And that's a great shout out to Links in the Cryptoverse Telegram group chat who found this and spot this. So yeah, 50x gains within the last, let's say 2 hours from the news of the crypto strategic reserves. And that's going to keep happening. I don't expect these plays to last long at all. Like, these plays maybe are just in for an hour or two, make your quick buck, get out. You don't expect these coins to kind of have the everlasting growth or some of the longevity of some of the meme coins that we've been in before. There is another one as well. I'd say this one was one of the ones that we had in our group chat, around 300K market cap, which is Baby, which was a deal seized by the US government. Bit similar story to Peanut, when Peanut was, around the politician race, and we had Trump mention it, we had Elon Musk mention it, but I think now this was something that was on my radar. It's a shame that it actually pumped again before I could actually speak about it. But Elon Musk actually reposted something about the deal that was taken as well. So these are kind of small little things. I don't expect these plays to last as well. It's just quick, get your money in, get your money out. One of the coins I'd say that has been performing well for us, this is something that we had that I think it was about 1 mil market cap, which was the Infinite Money Glitch. So this is one of the coins that are kind of starting the meta, I'd say, of the new micro caps, where you'd buy in. It's like a Ponzi scheme. It's essentially a Ponzi scheme. And this happened when the market was really, really bad. And a lot of people were figuring out ways on how to get communities to actually hold tokens. And one of these ways was creating a coin and using the tax rewards to provide more Solana to people. So you'd buy in the IMG token, and that Solana would actually help. It would just, you'll find reflections within your wallets, and you receive quite a bit of money in Solana. It's a good way to hold token price. I think that's one of the ones that we were looking at in the chat recently. But those are just some of the new ones for now. I guess we've got our long-term plans of looking at UFD and Graphene and stuff like that, but we've had multiple talks on these coins before in the past, and I think this is one of the coins that more than likely will experience good growth within the market. Like I said, there was coins out there that hit the likes of 600 mil market cap, and they went all the way down to 40 mil, lost over 1,000% of the gains for some people. Some people just missed out on their 10x by holding all that way, when you should be taking profits along the way so that you can buy the bottoms again. And Amir, you say this all the time, when a coin launches, you expect it to kind of find its top, and then all of a sudden it's got to find the bottom again and consolidate, and that's just a part of a token launch in general. So yeah, the Graphene's one that I'm looking at. UFD, of course, we've had multiple talks on that before. I'm not going to shit any more of UFD for now. But anything new for you, Amir, that you're looking at?
Let me show you guys the Griffin. Let's get a little bit closer to that chart that Ryan showed. Okay, let me just go on Griffin right now. I'm going to show you guys something very interesting. So if I get my supply and demand tool out, you can see that Griffin today, during the morning, I was watching it very closely. I saw that Griffin is in an accumulation area, and price was literally pulling back into an area where price literally broke out before. It was going back here, and today I saw it that it was trying to bounce. So I took a 10x leverage, like a degen, and I'm up 152% on that.
So took a 10% leverage like a TJ.
I don't really leverage too much, but I was like,
go back to that chart for a sec, because it's funny. There's been a lot of the Adam and Eve pattern in a lot of charts on the shorter time frame, and you can see it perfectly right there playing out. You have the V on the left in your consolidation box, followed up by a U. And it's kind of weird to see some stronger coins from the past and current start to actually make that Adam and Eve pattern, which turns into a cup handle, bounce, top, retest that box, and off they go to that next region that you have there, the blue. Just calling it as I see it there, just interesting. And that usually means either consolidation along the resistance support or breakout to the upside. So cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the volume looks good as well, to be fair. We got some buyers coming in now, so volume is above average compared to a 10. RSI literally went from the oversold, it's moving towards the overbought region, and UFD looks very, very strong right now. UFD has broken out of this range. This resistance is not support, so let me just change that to support. There we go. And now the next resistance is going to be, I don't know, around this area potentially. So we could potentially go towards this area next to retest this as resistance. So this could be the next resistance here, potentially. And, it's looking very strong, man. The community is good. Ron is still going live every day. I see him on my timeline all the time. He's going live. Even when the market's terrible, he still goes live. RSI is moving towards the overbought position, and volume is slightly increasing, starting to increase slightly, and volatility looks all right, to be fair. The volatility has increased today, and it's rising right now. And if we go to Fred, which I mentioned in the last podcast last week, Fred was hovering around this area last week. It was around, so Sunday, if you go back to Sunday, when was that? It was around this area, I think. Yeah, it was here. Or was it? Yeah, it was, because I'm on the 8 hour. And I was telling everyone this is a good opportunity to get in. We could go on an uptrend, and we did. We blasted again for a second run. I think the destination for this
what is the percentage of gain from the show last week to right now here today?
So let me go to the daily and we can check it properly. So today's Sunday. So let's go back to last Sunday, which is around here, which is this candle here. So we had around, if you get it from the next day's open, we could have around, so it did go up all the way to 117% from where I was buying it in the bottom region, so slightly higher. But I think the destination for this,
it looks like a cup and handle on the daily for sure.
Yeah.
It's just forming a beautiful cup there.
Yeah.
I mean, even to the top, like a little bit of pullback, normal. Yeah, that to me is where I'm seeing cup and handle go.
It could do that. Yeah. I mean, the trend line's there as well, so it could go towards this area. Really.
Yeah. I see that. And now that we have money flowing back in, I mean, we're already at 3.07 trillion. That's 10% up on it already. So do me a favor.
It's the same as well. Sorry?
I said, can you do me a favor? Can I throw you on the spot?
Is it going to be a hard question?
Yeah, give me some Fart Boy. I want to hear your thoughts on Fart Boy. Everybody knows my thoughts.
Yeah, let me go on the actual chart on Fart Boy. Let me go on the photon this time. Hold on 1 second.
Let me know when your screen's ready, and I'll get you on it. So we can have some non-biased opinion, so it's not always mine.
Absolutely.
But we've had some great calls, like just listening to some of the ETH call I did last week, or Fred last week. I mean, in your Telegram, guys, you've had calls that have been great over the years. We've done calls together on streams that have been great over the years. And somebody asked me, Trench Father, so how do we join the Telegram, guys?
Sure. Just send a message to the Cryptoverse actual Twitter page in the DMs. Amir or myself will get to you. It'll be Cryptoverse 3 with the underscore. And as soon as you send a message to us, we'll walk you through the details on how to join that. I'm actually getting quite a few messages myself on how to join the Telegram now after today's call as well, the 50X. So yeah, there's a lot of calls that have been in there before, kind of as you've seen already. There is a lot of meme coins in there that you probably will just get mind blown with the amount of meme coins that are in there. So don't use a large portion of your capital when you are in there. It's a casino, as Elon Musk calls it on the Joe Rogan podcast. It basically is a casino, but it's just choosing the best bets of what those coins are. You look at the community, you look at the holders. There's a lot of things that you have to look at when you buy into a meme coin, and Fart Boy is one of the top ones for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the strength of that with the last market shitting. Like, and that really blew my mind. And the community rallying behind one of the members that was scammed, and they topped up his wallet. Like, every week there's a cool story, you know. And like I said, there's some cool news coming out on the Twitter with the web series, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I think this bull run will be a little different for me, and it's going to be one of a little more fun, which I'm excited about. Yeah. Let's see it, buddy. Let's see what you think.
Yeah, I'm on the Fort Boy daily time frame right now, and I drew it before when Canada was talking. I drew a Fibonacci here, and I took out the 60 to 70% area, which I consider as premium discounts in a chart. So from the low of the structure to the top of the structure, I draw a Fibonacci and I find those areas, and it looks like price has gone down. Let me just get my pen out. Whoa, I'm dark here. Let me just get my pen out. Where's my pen gone? Where was it again? I forgot. It was here. So it looks like the price has risen to the top, and it's gone through a retracing period right here, and it's hit that 80 million market cap region. And if I draw a channel as well over here, guys, you can find out where we are on the channel as well. 1 second. What is it? Sorry, it's a new exchange I'm using, so might have slight problems. So, you know what? I'll create my own channel. All right, there. We had a channel here, descending channel, and it looks like Fort Boy is gearing up for a move to break out of that channel. So let's go closer so let's go closer on the 4-hour time frame. So it looks like we've had a bounce on Fort Boy of this region. We created equal highs. We had a pullback, and it looks like volume's coming into the market now for Fort Boy over here. You can see this volume here. It's above average. It looks like money is entering this coin now, and it's very close to breaking out and going to this resistance over here. There's some equal highs in this area that needs to be tapped into as well. So there's liquidity in this area, and I think Fort Boy will very soon into this zone again at 160, and it could be a really, really fast movement as well as this breaks out, and then we could have a pullback and then a continuation after that. We can go up. And for price discovery, if I draw a Fibonacci backwards, I would say we could if we go to price discovery.
Where's that 618?
High. Yeah, we got 1.23 here, 138 and 1618 right there. So these could be some of the zones that price could tap into and the investors could take profits from. So you can keep an eye on these areas. It might not be beautiful like drawn, but it's just estimate areas, you know, that price could tap into in the future once we break out of the all-time high and we go into price discovery. But to me, this looks very beautiful. This chart is holding even through that rough period.
Yeah.
Fort Boy still managed to find its place and just stay firm at where it is. Holders were not selling. Very strong community. And if the holders not selling, there's going to be a supply shock, right? So if buyers come in, there's going to be a lower supply for them to buy. So it would drive the price really high. And this is a clear example of that. And it could really, really blast through the all-time high and go into these areas very soon as the market recovers.
Cool. It's always nice to see somebody else do TA that I like whose TA it is too. Yeah, it's. I mean, one we mentioned ages ago was Hyper. Don't pull it up. I mean, it's at about a 2x position from when we announced it on the show now. You know, another stronger community. You have the UFT Unicorn Fart Test. They're struggling a little bit right now. But good entries, lots of good entries, and I think they're looking to break out of the downward channel here, looking like we're made a new higher low. So it could be some turnaround action. Another, like I said, another strong community. You know, there's some of these where it's just time to accumulate, hold, you know, and come back and check on them every 2, 3, 4 weeks. But if you're checking your wallet every 2, 3, 4 minutes, you're doing it wrong.
And LCX, look at LCX, guys. LCX looks like Fartboy. I just found the chart that looks exactly like Fartboy. It's got the same downward pressure, and investors were not selling, same as Fartboy. So this could be a potential coin as well that could rise and go crazy. If you look back as well in history, it hasn't even reached its all-time high yet, and we got equal highs at the top here. So we could literally blast off on LCX as well. XTC, very similar, you know, similar concept here. There's a lot of tokens that have a lot of potential in the market right now. You just have to look for them. And if you're in our group, you can always send your tokens to our Majors Lounge, which is here. And I'm happy to do TAs with you guys, you know, and tell you what are the best areas to get into your coins. You know, I'm always here helping you guys. We got so much information here. We got so many useful and amazing people in our community that you can connect with. It's not just a community where everyone makes money. It's a community where people connect with each other and, you know, become useful to each other, you know, and that's powerful in my opinion, you know.
That's what community is all about, brother. 100%. Finding these old shorts from like our shows past, and they're so perfectly related right now. You know, do you guys have any other coins or tokens? Does the community out there, do you have any questions? There's 831 of you. We're just over an hour. Does anybody have a request?
If you don't, then send some messages like Amir said to our Telegram, or just drop a note in our Twitter. Like we'll see it, and then we'll just note it for the next week. There was one coin, I guess, FWOG was one of the ones that I think I mentioned on the last podcast that I may have been on. And I think it was around maybe the 50 mil market cap region. It did tap into lows. I think it was like 35 mil. And then one of the big talking points around this was what we saw with Yuga Labs, where I think Yuga Labs are now a part of the FWOG community. And now we're starting to see like a lot of bigger entities within the crypto space start to back FWOG. Yeah, that was something that we did mention, I think, on one of our last talks when I was here. It was around 50 mil. We did see some buys come in, then it bounced all the way back up to around 90 mil. And it looks like it's going to take another leg up. And I mean, if you look at like the all-time high on something like this, you know, you're looking at the 750 mil region. So there is a potential for it to get back up to the levels that it once saw previously, just from the community aspect and just from what I've seen on Twitter as well. So this is one to look out for sure. And always get discounts. Don't be buying green candles. Just buy the discounts. The market will give you opportunities to buy in again, as it always does. But yeah, I've got nothing more.
Don't chase people. Don't chase the pumps. Wait for discounts. Yeah. If you go and buy, for example, you go and buy something, would you prefer a discount on that purchase, or would you just buy it outright? You know what I mean? Always wait for a discount. Ryan loves Black Fridays. Ryan loves Black Fridays. I know him. He's always looking for discounts. You know, Ryan. So.
Depends how quick you need it. I mean, that's the philosophy. But yeah, no, I've got nothing more. I've got nothing more. Kanna, if you've got anything more, Amir, anything more for?
No, that's about it. To be fair, you know, I'm gonna go for a massage, guys. I don't know about you guys.
Nice. I'm gonna end with an old clip, and it's titled "Don't Panic." So I'm assuming it's got to be a goodie.
When we're looking at the slow trade versus the in and outs that we talk about on the Discord, and you don't want to trade often, you don't have a lot of time, you don't have to worry about these retracements. Because if in a month you do 33%, 30, 20, 18, it doesn't matter on these little retracements.
We're out of here, gents. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. See you next Friday or Sunday at 5 p.m. London time.
Peace, guys.
Make sure you buy those bottoms.